Have you ever encountered a hurdle with launching or growing your business? Listen, there are two things that run a business, the back end and your soft skills.
Telling you right now, if these aren't in place, you'll lose clients and you'll lose money. You don't want that? Well, you're in the right place.
Hey, I'm Dana.
Hey, I'm Sara.
We're your hosts of the Entrepreneur Encounter, and we're going to give you a behind-the-scenes glance into our businesses, give you genuine feedback, tips and tricks, plus occasionally bring on guests that care about supporting you to grow your business organically and nurturing authentic relationships. Are you ready? Welcome back to another amazing episode. Our show is primarily to empower early-stage entrepreneurs to build their businesses and enhance their personal and professional development. We're your hosts, Dana
and Sara.
And today we're going to dive into a topic that I'm sure is especially relevant to many entrepreneurs, mompreneurs, solopreneurs, and any other entrepreneur-esque title you can come up with, is struggling to effectively plan and prep for big seasonal breaks. This can be for summer break if you have children. This could be upcoming holidays. This could be maternity leave, paternity leave, like taking care of a elderly parent. Like breaks in life are going to happen. And sometimes, if not all the time, as entrepreneurs, it is a struggle to take time off. But Sara and I are really passionate about strategies and communication and time management. So with the right strategy, you can have the ability to enjoy a holiday without worrying about your business. So let's get started.
Yeah, I remember when I started my business, I'm like, how am I going to take time off? Like even before starting this podcast, I was like, can I actually take a vacation? Can I actually like hang out with my kids when they're home from summer? You know what I mean? Like, so it can be tough. It's like a huge roller coaster. You're just going to keep running into challenges, yes, but you have to make sure that you are preparing for that. So now we're going to understand like the importance of taking a break. I would love to have a week off, like just do nothing. So why is it important for us to take a break? Running a business is a marathon, not a sprint. So continuous work without resting can lead to burnout, decreased productivity, because if you're constantly on the go, you're not giving your brain time to rest. You're not giving your body to recharge, because when you are able to recharge, it's going to boost your creativity and improve your overall well-being. So make sure you're taking some sort of break and rest.
I would say I agree with that, because even my mini breaks during the day, like just a regular day where I go and take walks around a local track, whether my kids come or not, I do a minimum of 4 laps just so I can get my mile in and hit my step goal. But even that small little break, that's where I have a lot of like, I let my mind wander. I don't necessarily mean to think about work or the podcast or whatever else, but I'll be thinking about something else, and it inspires the business part of my life. Like, oh, I would love to, for instance, this summer, I am implementing like once a week, we go on some sort of field trip. It could be to a different park in our community. Like it doesn't have to be this grand thing, but I want to be able to do a few tasks first thing in the morning, like while it's still warming up and like kids eat breakfast and do all this, but then be able to step away for a few hours to go be intentional and like present with them. We did buy like a annual pass to Discovery Place, which is like a STEM museum thing.
Oh, that's cool.
They have 3 different ones in our area. So I was like, well, that's enough to fill the whole summer. Plus like the trickling in here and there of the other stuff. So I'm not doing anything major, but it still is a break that I need to plan for. It's still something that requires even a simple strategy to ensure that my day and my week is set up that I can walk away or be away for 3 to 4 hours and then come back and pick up where I left off. So for our listeners who know me so well, planning ahead is key, and it is probably the best thing that you can do if you want a stress-free holiday. So not only plan for the time off, but plan for potential hiccups that may occur and have some sort of system in place to handle it or to communicate, hey, I let you know I'm not going to be in the office during this time. If it's an emergency, here's my assistant or here's something, and I will get back to it first thing in the morning or whenever your break is over. So 3 tips, I guess, for helping you prepare is to schedule your time off. Go ahead and mark it off on your calendar well in advance. Let your team, if you have one, know. Definitely let your clients know. Let your family, friends, neighbors, like let everyone know, like during this, like it seems silly, Sarah's laughing at me, but like let them know that you will not be in the office. You will not have the laptop be an extension of your being during these days. You may have your phone, like if it's an emergency, you lost an entire platform's worth of work. But if it's not that level, you're not really going to get to it. So then prioritize tasks. Identify any high priority tasks that must be completed before you leave. Is that finishing a design lookbook for an upcoming launch? Is that batch recording your content so that you can take time off? Like whatever those high priority tasks, get them done ahead of time, delegate or schedule the less urgent tasks for when you return. Create a to-do list is the last one. Make a comprehensive, very detailed to-do list of everything that needs to get done before your break. And then break it down into manageable daily tasks to avoid the last minute rush, because no one enjoys that. It's going to take the joy, excitement out of your break away if you're like in that mad dash trying to get everything done.
We're talking about scheduling your time. So right now, my kids are in summer school, but they don't go to summer school on Fridays. So what I'm trying to do is plan ahead and get everything that I can get done during the time that they're in school. So when it comes to Friday, I'm not having to worry about work. So basically, like working ahead is a great thing too. I know a few months ago when we had spring break, the week before, I was making sure that I was getting things done ahead of time. So when the kids were home from school for spring break, I came back, going into work during spring break, knowing that I didn't really have much to do. I just did a couple check-ins. And I felt so at ease because I wasn't having to work while they're in my ear, being kids. So yeah, you want to make sure that you're planning and prepping for what you can. Another thing that you can do, Dana touched on this, is delegation and automation. Delegation and automation can be a game changer for entrepreneurs. So social media, if you're trying to batch your content, you can use a scheduler to get everything scheduled out. So you can have a whole month's worth or 2 months worth of things automated to where they're scheduled and they go out at a certain time. Delegate responsibilities. Is there anybody that you can delegate if you have a team? Are you open to hiring somebody so that you can take time off and they can do that task for you? And then when you are delegating, you want to ensure that they have all the necessary information. So what that means is before you go on break and you do hire somebody, you want to make sure all the systems and processes are set up in place for that. And definitely communication. Communication, we talk about this so much, but it's so important. Like, I don't understand how people can just not communicate.
I was waiting on that to come up.
So when you're delegating responsibilities, when you're delegating tasks, okay, for example, if you are giving the necessary information to somebody that's going to handle those tasks, you want to communicate that in a standard operating procedure. You want to make sure it is so detailed that when you're gone, they don't need to reach out to you. So that is a written form of communication. So that's just one example of how that can happen as well.
Something else that I've been working on behind the scenes, because it's not a set it and forget it. Speaking of communication, is that setting up an out of office email. This one, to me, is very important for any entrepreneur, but I work with a lot of wedding creatives. So if you're in a busy wedding season, your response time is probably going to take longer than the normal 24, maybe 48-hour window. It could be they reach out to you on a Thursday and you got this 300-person tented wedding. You're not going to respond to them probably until Tuesday the next week, because Friday is always like a prep day. Saturday is execution. Sunday and Monday is recovery and relaxation and making sure all of the post-event like rentals, decor, like get back to where they need to go, like tying up all the loose ends, communicating with the vendors specifically that were involved. Like there's a lot that goes on. It's not just sending an email. So unless you're in that bubble of vendor team, you may not get a response until it's just going to be longer. So crafting and updating a professional out-of-office email that includes alternative contacts for urgent matters, informing them of what's going on. Like, hey, I appreciate you reaching out. I can't wait to connect with you. But right now, I am dedicating my time and attention to a couple whose wedding. We'll just go with that example. This weekend, I will respond as soon as possible or by X date, since you know when the wedding is and how long it usually takes you to get back into the swing of things, of the daily operations. Fooling with the planning, preparing for emergencies, because this is real life.
Oh, yeah.
And no matter how well you plan, emergencies will always arise. Like, I don't think I can stress that enough.
Oh, yeah. And, it's so funny, too, because you never know what's going to happen. It's an emergency. It's out of your control. Something is going to happen. And we can be prepared, but we just never know. So, for example, if you have kids and they're supposed to go to school today, but they're sick, so they have to stay home. So what can you do depending on the severity? Like, can you work or not work? That's fine. But if you cannot, then you can communicate that with your clients as well. So anything that happens. Last year, we had a hurricane. I live in Florida. We have hurricanes. So I remember I let my clients know, I'm like, hey, a hurricane is supposed to hit us in 2 days. If you don't hear from me after those 2 days, I will let you know when I'm back. It sucks, but anytime a storm hits, even a summer storm, the wind blows so hard, our house is so old that we lose power. We can lose power for a day. We can lose power for a week, depending on the storm or whatever. So I told my clients, I'm like, hey, just let you know that this might happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just preparing myself and preparing my clients. Like, if you don't hear from me, it's because I don't have power. You will hear from me when I get my power back on. Then I think it was maybe a few days after the storm, I contacted my clients who were like, oh, so you're back? I thought it was going to be longer than that. So like that was me communicating in case if this happens, this is what's going to happen. So having that communication, because you never know.
Hey there, listeners. Ever feel like you're struggling to connect with customers or lead your team effectively? That's where soft skills come in.
Entrepreneur Encounter isn't just another podcast. We're a community dedicated to helping early stage entrepreneurs like you master the soft skills that make or break a business.
Technical skills are important, but without communication, collaboration, and confidence, your business might never get off the ground to the next level.
In our membership, Dana and I share actionable insights and tips to help you nurture the soft skills you need to thrive.
Give you access to bonus content, workshops, and a network of like-minded entrepreneurs who are all on the same journey.
We'll teach you how to boost your confidence,
Become a leader who inspires and motivates your team,
navigate conflict like a pro,
to resolve disagreements without drama and build stronger relationships,
communicate clearly and concisely, get your message across, build trust, and close the deal.
If you're ready to take your business to the next level, join the circle by clicking the link in the show notes.
I like having also like a backup plan. So I'm based in North Carolina, and we have had an unusual weather situation in the last few months. Like, we've had a tornado come through here, and it just tore up our area, like trees down, falling into houses, power was out. Like, luckily my area, like, it flickered, but it didn't go out. And we had on the road right next to my house, like 3 trees fell down. So I don't know how we didn't lose power. I'm grateful that we didn't, but I had to like at night message my virtual assistant. I was like, hey, I may not be available tomorrow. So me and her have a backup plan. And my clients know already when they start working with me that she is my on-call team member. So if I am out for whatever reason, they have her email address. They are connected with her on Slack or Google Chat. And they are used to seeing her pop up every so often. So there's also that they're comfortable with her, at least understanding that she's not just some random person popping up in their inbox saying, hey, give me access to your social media stuff. Dana is out of office. Like your business is your baby and you just don't want to pass it off to just anybody. So anybody that starts working with me knows that Reagan, who is my assistant, may pop up every so often. And then if a need arises that I am out of office, cannot access my computer, they can reach out to her and she kind of steps in on my behalf to make sure that whatever it is moves forward and they aren't left waiting.
Another thing I wanted to touch on too, that I saw someone post somewhere on social media saying that it sucks when the internet goes out because I can't work or something like that. And somebody was saying, well, you can go to your library or you can go to your coffee shop. But some people don't have the means to do that though. Like, what if you don't have the access, the way to get there? A lot of us entrepreneurs, all of us rely on our internet. And there are times when there's an outage, we don't have control over that. And sometimes a lot of us don't have the means to get to where we need to get to actually have access to the internet. So I would say that can be like, not really an emergency, but if there's a way that you can contact your clients and say, hey, I can't do this or whatever. But another thing too, like you're a business owner, don't you set your own time? So if your power goes out for a few hours, like, okay, go clean your house or something, like. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things that are out of our control, but being able to communicate that as well. And, as we go on to talk about setting boundaries, you as a business owner, you as an entrepreneur, you set your own working time. You can say, hey, like I work between these hours and these hours, but you're not like an employee that has to be on the clock at all times.
I think that is some mental work that one, you have to set the hours. So you have to be realistic about what you can and cannot get done as you prep ahead of time, but being mentally prepared to step back and walk away for that vacation. I did not always do that. When I took my kids to Universal 2 years ago, my laptop went with me. Like I did not mentally prepare to take that off. I was like, we can balance both. I will do bare minimum work, but work still in the morning. Like I'll let them sleep in. Then we'll go get breakfast and do all the things. And then when they go to bed, I'll work some more just to kind of keep things up. And that was exhausting. I had a lot of mental breakdowns while I was on vacation that year. I'll be fully transparent. There was a lot of breakdowns. But it was because I was trying to juggle so many things. So commit to yourself. Honestly, this is where I'm going to like dangerously say, forget your clients and your team and commit to yourself to limiting work-related or cutting them off completely for your entire break. That way, you are maintaining and holding up your boundaries that you've already, you've prepared for this. You've communicated with your clients. You've communicated with your team what your boundaries are, what the only A and B situations that they can contact you on your break for. Everything else, they should have been empowered to handle on your behalf. And you can put out any fires when you get back. So sticking to your boundaries and really committing to yourself to fill your cup up so that when you get back, you can start filling in your clients' cups. Engage in those mindfulness practices and relaxation techniques. This can be when you're on a holiday break or just every day. I think I've mentioned this in episodes before. One of the reasons I really like HoneyBook is because on their app, I'm pulling it up, you guys. They have this in their tools on the app. It is called Breathe, and it is a relaxation part of their app, and it helps you time your deep breaths for however many that you need. I think it starts with 6, and if you need more, you just repeat it and you get 6 more deep breaths. But like if you're in the middle of a hectic day or moment, they have already prepared for this because they work with entrepreneurs, and I'm going to share it with you guys because I've used it before. I have been like so swamped with responding to workflow tasks and completing them that I was like, I need a minute. And I used it and it's amazing. Like it really, like my kids think I'm crazy, but I'm always like, take a deep breath. And they're like, it doesn't work. I'm like, but it does. Or I would have lost my mind years ago. Take a deep breath.
It's funny that you mentioned that with your kids too, because with anybody really, like when you talk about like trying to relax, you don't think that your kids are going to help you relax. But a few weeks ago, I decided to dabble into some yoga, and I found a video on YouTube and I put it on the TV in the living room and I started doing it every day after that. My youngest, he's 7. Mommy, are we going to do yoga? Are we going to do yoga together? So now, like, if he asks, like, we'll go do it together. Like, it's so funny. It's so cute. And it actually, like, inspires me to keep doing it. But I don't know how often that's going to last. So, relax when we can, because, like, yes, kids are crazy in a good way, but they have some good thoughts to help their mama.
So I have been committing to 20 to 30 minutes of cardio every day because, again, my step goal. And, it's a balancing act. If I don't do it earlier in the day, it most likely won't happen. But this is my break every day, is doing the cardio, because it gets my juice, like my blood flowing and my brain kind of flow wherever, because I'm not focused on anything in particular. So I have even started taking my kids when I take them to the park or something in the evening. Thank goodness, most people are already gone by then, but I'll do my workout at the park. Like, I'll prop my phone up on my water bottle thing, and my knockoff Stanley cup, and I'll do my workout while they run around and play. And sometimes they'll come and like haphazardly do it with me, and then they move on because, they're little and their attention spans just can't handle that. But they enjoy watching me do it and cheer me on and participate to the best of their ability.
That's awesome.
I highly recommend it.
I love that. Kids are great motivators, right?
100%. So if you have not learned anything from this, I hope you'll take away this one piece, listeners, is that taking a break as an entrepreneur isn't just about enjoying some time off, but it's about ensuring your long-term productivity and overall well-being. Planning ahead, delegating tasks, automating what you can, communicating effectively, and preparing for emergencies. You'll be able to take that break without any guilt or stress or overwhelm that you're missing out on something. The goal of any break, whether it's a 20-minute break every single day or a longer week, 2-week, month-long vacation, is to return refreshed and ready to take your business to the next level of where it is that you want to go.
Yep. Bring on taking the breaks and doing absolutely nothing. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.